everyone, my name is Adam Michael Anthony Simpson and you're watching my YouTube channel, Adam M.A. Simpson. Today's episode features my first cousin, Dr. Kristin Cowan-Lyn. I'll call her Kristin from now on because that's what I know her as. Now, as I said, Kristin is my first cousin. She is the eldest daughter of my father's big sister. And you know, Kristin was always like another big sister. I have a big sister from like my parents, Alicia, which I will have an interview with eventually. But now I just wanted to celebrate this relationship between Kristin and I, because Kristin was one of my role models growing up. Kristin was always well-rounded. She danced, she played the piano, she was in theater, she did sports, and she was also like a straight A student. Secretly, you know, growing up, I was always like, what would Kristin do in this situation? What would you know, and so I just thought this is the best platform to show you this special relationship and, you know, talk about Kristin, because Kristin is also an ophthalmologist in Jamaica, and we talk about what it's like being a medical doctor in Jamaica, and, you know, how treatment is given, and, you know, how Kristin is able to do her work and her, you know, trajectory through medicine and how it works on the island. So this episode is very special, and please watch, like, subscribe, and enjoy. So, Dr. Kristin Cowan-Lyn, my first cousin. I just wanted to say before we get into this, Kristin was the blueprint since I was a kid. I just always looked at her. Wow, I need to... Oh, good grades. I want to, like, you know, you play the piano and everything. And so, yeah, I don't know if I've ever told you this, like in person, but it was, every time I worked hard, it was, in my mind, it was like, what would Kristin do kind of thing.
Oh my gosh.
Yes, I'm so serious. I do remember one time I actually called you as a kid, because I was reading the dictionary, because Kristin reads the dictionary. I don't know where I got that from. And I found out that a banana was a berry. And I called you in the middle of the night.
I apologize.
No, and you're like, yes, it's a berry. It's like, oh, I was just calling to make sure you knew, or to see if you knew.
You're too sweet. Honestly, like, I mean, hearing that from you, who like you're like one of the people that I'm so proud of. I mean, that makes me feel good. Because I mean, growing up, well, maybe I should like introduce myself as well.
Yes, you should.
I'm Kristin, Dr. Kristin Cowan-Lyn, but honestly, it's Chris. I mean, I've known you ever since you were born.
Yes.
And I was most proud as well of my little baby cousin. I was convinced strongly that I taught you how to laugh. No one could tell me how to laugh. I came into the room and I was like, yeah, and then you laughed, and I was like, I fucking laugh. So,
yes.
I mean, we have our you know, memories of back in the day. Like, that's one of my accomplishments, was teaching to laugh.
Well,
no, it was actually true. I'm sure you're probably laughing.
You taught me how to laugh. We'll leave it at that.
But yeah, no, that makes me feel really nice that you had that impression of me at a young age. But honestly, like, I mean, it's just for the fact that I was the eldest of our little group of cousins. I think that's the only reason I was leading you guys along the way, just by age.
Yeah.
But I definitely think our family dynamic is super unique. We're really blessed to have a close-knit family.
Very close.
So, yeah. So, I mean, I think that's one of the things that we have coming from Jamaica and everything, that is just this really close bond. Every birthday, every kind of event, celebration, graduation, we just celebrate each other together, and it's just this great, you know, social support.
Yes.
So,
yes.
I'm really happy for that.
Yes.
Through the years. Yeah.
Definitely. I think growing up with you guys, I don't know, when I found out what immediate and extended family meant, I'm like, no, that's not what it means. It's we're immediate.
Yeah, we're immediate.
I mean, everything. Yeah.
We're like brother and sister.
Exactly.
We grew up so closely together.
Exactly.
We're just across the way.
Yeah.
And so, like, every weekend together, I feel like you're basically my brother. So
exactly.
I take that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, let's get into the interview stuff. So, Kristin, can you tell us about your trajectory to medicine in Jamaica? What inspired you to be a medical doctor? I remember you wanted to do this since high school. Like, I remember you saying this like very clearly, and nobody would know this, but at a young age, you were actually a dancer, and you even got an opportunity to go to dancing school in New York, but you're like, no,
I'm gonna be
exactly, from a very young age. So tell us about this trajectory to being a medical doctor.
Okay, well, I mean, in Jamaica, I think one of the things that was kind of maybe not the best situation, but whenever you're kind of inclined towards the sciences, I think you tend to, in your mind, put yourself into, I have to go in the medicine route. That's something that they kind of nurtured at a really young age. Like, what do you want to be? Oh, I want to be a doctor. Oh, I want to be, you don't necessarily think about all of the options within the science arm that you could do. I could be a researcher. I could be a nutritionist. I could be anything within the science field. But I tended to think, like, if I love science and I love biology and I love taking care of people, I clearly must be a doctor. And I mean, I have no regrets on it, but I think I honed in on that at a very, very young age. One thing I probably have a lot to consider as to why I chose this field is I had a brother. His name was Brandon Cowan, and he tended to injure himself on a regular basis. And I felt like I was always kind of cleaning up the bruises, cleaning up the scrapes, and nurturing and caring for him. And I felt like that kind of led me into being a caregiver, and a doctor. So I was always very interested in just what happened within the body and how it worked, and I always had that kind of mindset, and so it felt very natural for me. The only doctor that I had that I really was like within my family sphere was my mother and father's family friend, Paul Rampa.
Yes, Uncle Paul.
Yeah, Uncle Paul. And he was a cardiologist. Actually, no, he was a cardiothoracic surgeon.
Yes.
And he inspired me a lot growing up, because I would see him, at gatherings and stuff, and he would rush off, because he had a patient that he had to save. And I looked up to that a lot. So I think that was something that influenced my decision. But early on out, I decided that that's what I wanted, as you know, and I went straight from high school. I applied to the University of West Indies. I didn't even consider going abroad. I wanted to study medicine here in Jamaica. And I got in, thankfully, straight out of high school, which I think that is a very steep transition
Yes.
from high school straight into medical school without any undergraduate degree. It just kind of launched straight into it. And from there, doctor.
Doctor. I mean, well, it's the same. Everywhere does medical school the same way, except for the US and Canada. Yeah, but exactly. At least here you become a medical doctor at a younger age, so you have more years as a professional. But lovely story. Uncle Paul is my godfather too. I don't know if you knew that.
You didn't know that?
Yeah, he's my godfather. So yeah, it's funny how that's Jamaica for you.
Yeah.
How does ophthalmology get into the picture? How did you decide ophthalmology?
Yeah, well, it's funny because I had I did piano, as you said.
Yes.
Yes, my piano teacher, she actually owns a glasses store, or a chain of glasses stores. And so as she was teaching me piano, she always kind of said to me, ophthalmology is a really good area in medicine, and you should think about it because you seem like the type of person who would like it. And she, honestly, her name is Rosemary Yap. She was the first person who actually opened my mind to the possibility of ophthalmology. I mean, when I started medical school, I hadn't honed in on it yet, but I mean, I when I did my rotation in ophthalmology, I actually really did like it. What I liked about it is the fact that it is a very specialized area. You're dealing with a very small, organ. It is a very important organ. I would say that. But I mean, a lot of people feel the effects of if your vision is affected, your life is affected. And so people tend to really, when they need ophthalmology services, it's like it affects their life a lot. If you have a deterioration in your vision and you have an improvement, that improvement is something that can alter or improve your life drastically.
Exactly.
And so I saw that early on, and that's being something that I really wanted to kind of help in that area in people's lives. And so that's what got me interested to start out with. But what made me really fall in love with ophthalmology was after spending time in it, I actually, because we do little rotations after medical school, we call them senior house officer.
Yeah. SHO.
SHO for short. But basically, it allows you to kind of explore areas of interest and spend some time, not necessarily in a residency program. And so I did my SHO stint for 6 months in ophthalmology. And what I really fell in love with was the technology that was utilized in ophthalmology. I found that ophthalmology, in my opinion, was leaps and bounds ahead of other specialties in terms of technology. We use, our optical coherence tomography uses light energy to visualize the retina in cross section that you can see microns in depth.
Oh, wow.
It's kind of leading the way in imaging. We use lasers to kind of treat patients and it feels like you're, playing a video game, but you're really one. So it's cool to me. Like, I really enjoy that aspect of it. And so that's kind of what really made me decide this is definitely what I want to do.
Thank you for that story. And I know that you had other interests along the way. I remember with grandma and her ailments, you had other interests, but you stuck with ophthalmology. Yeah.
And I mean, grandma and grandpa, they both had glaucoma, unfortunately.
Yeah. Yeah.
Our grandmother.
Yes.
They both had glaucoma, and cataracts, and actually have seen grandpa as a patient as well.
Oh
And
wow, that must be interesting.
it was a really great feeling because before I started ophthalmology, grandpa always says, one day I'm going to come to you and one day you're going to help me, you're going to fix my eyes. And so
Yes.
when I actually did see him as a patient, I was so thrilled. It was something I had really wanted to have an opportunity to do. So
Yes.
it was really great.
Mm-hmm.
So it did inspire me, like seeing it even within my family. I enjoyed that aspect.
Yes, lovely. So what's interesting about your road to ophthalmology is that as part of the program at UWI, University of the West Indies, you had to do a stint in the UK. Can you tell us what the purpose of the stint is and about your experience there? I know you really, really enjoyed it there too. You're there for 2 years.
Yes, it was originally supposed to be just one, but
yes.
then COVID happened.
Yes.
And I was spending for some more time there actually.
Please check out my merch in the description box below, or you can see the website here. Please see, this is an original. I've had it printed on a sweater. It's called A Hairy Situation. And it was actually inspired by 2020, where we were, there's so many different things going on. And so I just thought, a hairy situation. This is a very complicated, complex situation, and everything was just intertwined. Pandemic, everything. So please check it out. I have a lot of art pieces and I have more merch that I'm working on that I want to put on the platform. So the best way to support me, because all of this information and everything that I do on this channel is for you and it's free. But if you'd like to support me or support Black business, you can please buy piece of my artwork, because you get something tangible in return. That was something that I worked on and it really means a lot to me. So please check out my merch here.
But yeah, so ophthalmology is as I was mentioning, it's like a very technologically driven area in medicine, and a lot of aspects of ophthalmology are not necessarily available here in Jamaica necessarily. Certain subspecialties aren't available here, certain technology we don't have on the island, and so to gain exposure in those areas and to have experience, the program has set time for you to spend having experience in all of that ophthalmology. And so thankfully, I mean, as a Commonwealth country of the UK, our medical system is kind of based
integrated
off of,
and
it's based off of the system in the UK, and we also have doctors that are working here in Jamaica who are trained in the UK and vice versa. And so we have a good relationship with them over there. And so there's actually something called a dual sponsorship scheme, which allows Jamaican ophthalmology residents or residents in training to go up and experience training there, within their program. And so I was sponsored by Dr. Patel Gordon Bennett. She is a mentor to me. She's so amazing. She's Jamaican, and she worked here for several years and then went up to the UK. And so it has been, one of the things in her life that she does for a lot of Jamaicans is to bring them up and allow them to gain experience up there. And that's how she's giving back to the Jamaican society. And I think she's just amazing for what she does, because she does a lot of work to get us there. It takes a lot of paperwork and getting things sorted. And so she actually has me over at her house. She nurtures me while I'm there. She's really, really great. So I have to be really thankful for her.
Aw.
So yes, and I worked in the Western Sussex Hospital Trust, Worthing. Most people know it's very near to Brighton. Brighton is the area that most people would know. But I was working in the ophthalmology department there, gaining experience in specialized techniques such as phacoemulsification, which is a specialized cataract surgery that uses ultrasound energy to pluck out the cataract.
Oh, really? I never knew that was possible.
I mean, as I said, it's a lot of technology within ophthalmology because it's such a tiny structure and you're operating on this tiny structure. You utilize techniques, you know, like fluidics and dynamics in order to maintain the shape of the eye while you're operating in it. It's it's pretty cool.
That's intense. Wow. Okay, so then thank you for watching the completion of part 1 of this interview with Dr. Kristin Cowan-Lyn. That is, please stay tuned for part 2. You have a treat because we talk about Kristin's, you know, medicine and stuff like that. So yeah, please stay tuned. Like and subscribe because that helps my channel. All right.